Voice AI agents are one of the fastest growing technology right now. The market is exploding from $2 billion to $48 billion by 2034. And 80% of businesses plan to use voice AI technology by 2026. If you've been watching from the sidelines, it might feel like you have been left behind. And you look at some examples or tutorials on YouTube and they're way too technical, or there's 1,000 scattered videos here and there and you just don't know where to start. Well, here's the truth. Voice AI agents are a lot easier to understand and build than they first appear. I know it because I've done it. In this video, I'll break it down for you so you can understand what voice AI agents really are from scratch, even if you've never touched AI tools before. Here's what we'll cover. First, I'll go through what voice AI agent really is, how it works, what it can do for your business, and finally, step by step, how to build your own in less than 15 minutes. No coding required. If you're new to this channel and don't know who I am, my name is Edwin Chen. I'm an Oxford postgraduate and a Voiceflow certified expert. And over the past year, we've worked with almost 50 different companies, including a $250 million restaurant chain with over 200 locations, to implement chat, voice, and AI automation solutions so they can focus working on the business and not in the business. And if you're interested in working with me and my team, feel free to use the link in the description to book a free discovery call with us. So I'll first walk you through what a voice AI agent really is. In a voice AI agent, there are two components, the voice and the AI agent part. Now, what is an AI agent? You've probably heard this term so many times. Like, what is it actually? Well, there are three components I would say is the most important part. You will have the brain, which is the LM, like the ChatGPT or Claude. You've got the memory, which is basically the agent being able to memorize or remember things that you told them, mostly through the conversation history that you have with ChatGPT, for example. The third thing is tools. It gives the agent the ability to take actions, to actually do things in the real world. For example, this is HubSpot, which is a CRM. For example, you can tell the agent to fetch a lead or save a lead into your CRM. You can also ask the AI agent to book an appointment through Google Calendar or Outlook, etc. This is what an AI agent is. Now, a voice agent combines an AI agent and voice and actually allows it to have natural human-like conversations with the user rather than just a traditional bot that just says, press 1 to go to customer support, press 2 to go to sales. Rather than that, it actually is able to react to a request naturally in real time. Now, let's look at what actually makes the whole voice AI agent. When the user speaks over the phone, it's in audio, of course. We need a way to be able to turn the audio, the sound, into text. This is because large language models like ChatGPT only really takes text as an input. So we need to turn sound to text somehow, and we use that through a layer called speech to text. This is a technology that actually turns audio and transcribes it into text format. And an example of that is Deepgram, which is actually one of the most popular speech to text layer to actually turns audio into text. Then we have the AI agent, which is the main brain, like ChatGPT. We then have the brain to actually process the text because we transcribes the audio into text. Then it's either connected to a memory to actually have some context or remember things. For example, my favorite color is blue. It'll remember that. It then uses the tool to do stuff such as booking appointments, saving leads, etc. that we talked about. After the AI agent is done, then it will generate a text reply to the user. This part, by the way, this whole part is basically just like ChatGPT. When you talk to ChatGPT, it will do things, it will look the internet up, and then it will generate text reply. This part is nothing new, just like ChatGPT. Afterwards, we need a way to turn the text response back to sound. And the way to do that is through a text-to-speech layer. And to do that, there's actually different providers. One of the main providers is, you might have heard of it, it's called 11 Labs. It's basically a library to store, they have many different voices, whether it's English, French, Romanian, German, Hindu, for example. They have all of the languages and they can do different accents as well. And you can just choose your own voice provider, which turns text into audio, like a human speech. Then the user then hears the response and then they will obviously speaks back, and then it will go through this pipeline again and again, and they will just talk to the user forever throughout different conversations. What are the use cases? Well, there's two main use cases in voice AI. It can either be inbound or outbound. Let's start with inbound. So an inbound is basically what people call an AI receptionist, where the customers or your leads call the AI. It's usually used when there's a high volume of calls. So there are two situations I like to imagine that based on like the examples I've served with different clients. The first one is kind of like a customer support call center. Not necessarily high volume, it can be, but it's just more efficient than, let's say, hiring an in-house call center because you need to pay their monthly salary and such, and it's getting expensive. And you also need to train them up. Usually these companies like, for example, software companies. That's why, Microsoft actually hired Microsoft support team, right, call center, or like telephone providers or telecommunications providers like Vodafone, for example. It's really highly technical, and you actually, a lot of the time, people call them up to fix certain issues such as their account issues, logins, to cancel their subscriptions, some technical problem with their SIM card or their Wi-Fi, for example. This is actually why they would call them. And a lot of the time, it takes a lot of time to actually train the employees up because there's so much documentation. Another advantage is that because some companies might try to hire offshore call centers, like in the Philippines or in Asia. The problem with that, a lot of the times they suffer from an accent problem where they speak English, but not a very, very great user experience when they have certain problems speaking certain words, for example, or when the way of communication was just not too clear to the user. So that is why that it will be more efficient to actually use an AI call center. The second use case is missed calls, when you've got a high volume of calls and you're kind of distracted doing something else. As an example, if you're a salon, you're a barber, or you are in a construction company, for example, a lot of the times you're out on the job, you're doing the haircutting or you're doing the construction work, and you physically can't answer phones. So if someone call you up when you're on the job, you will likely have a missed call. By the time you finish your job and you try to call them back, the leads have already moved on to your competitors and they're no longer interested. So you need to hit them when they're the hottest. So that is where the AI receptionist will be most useful. And a use case, this is one of the restaurants that we worked with to actually capture the missed orders from the customers, mostly on catering orders, but also we're working on normal orders as well. Now, this is inbound. There's also a use case where this is outbound, meaning that, for example, as an AI cold caller, where the AI actually calls people up. And why would you want that? Well, a lot of the times is you want more leads, aka cold caller, or you have a high volume of leads in your database where they churn a lot, and you want to kind of re-engage them and you want to win them back, right? This is what we call an AI warm caller. And we've seen use cases where we have the AI actually calls people up and try to win them back and then turn them back into a customer. I would say these are the two main use cases of voice AI in businesses right now. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to actually building it. In order to do that, you will need to go to Retell AI. Retell AI is a voice AI builder platform that allows you to build different voice AI agents. So you can try for free, and you just need to click try for free and set up an account. Once you do, this is your home page. This is where you'll navigate everything within your platform. The first thing you want to do is click on create an agent, a voice agent. There are different options, but I would definitely go with the single prompt agent first. This is the simplest way to build any voice AI agents. So I would just start from blank and just start from there. The way that it works, as the name suggests, is the voice AI agent is powered by one big prompt. Think of prompt as basically instructions you're telling the agent, for example, what it's doing, what the goal of the conversation are, etc. That's the most important part. That's actually what drives the brain of the entire voice agent as well. In this use case, I'm going to be using it as a customer support inbound voice agent for Vodafone, which is a telephony company, of course, and we're acting as a customer support call center for Vodafone. So the first thing I need to do is the prompt, and usually we have a very well-defined structure to do that. To make it easier, I will first of all paste in the template that we have. This is the template that I really like using in all of our projects. So first of all, we first define and gives it a name. We call Emma, Vodafone customer support voice agent, right? It gives the AI the context what it's doing. Then I like to start with identity and persona, aka who you are. So in this case, it would be you are Emma, experienced customer support. This would be one of, I will expand a little bit more in the future, but this is how you would get started. So give the AI context of who you are, and it gives your personality. So it can be warm but professional, do not sound robotic. Your voice style, again, just maybe keep it short and concise, and you can add more stuff depending on how you want your voice style. And another section I like to do is what you do. So basically telling the AI what it should be doing. And the way that I love that is to have your main jobs. By the way, if you wonder what this is, the hashtags are basically what we call a markdown format. This basically has been proven actually to increase the accuracy of the AI in following the prompt. One hashtag means it goes from a parent to kind of a children structure. So it's like kind of sections and subsections if you think about it. It will say your main jobs and it will list out 1, 2, 3. And I love using the 1, 2, 3 to make it a little bit more clear. So your main job, for example, is to answer customer questions, transfer the call, etc. And then you can just type whatever you want. And then you can say what you can help with, what you cannot do. So basically, this is telling the agent what you can do and what it can't do. So setting up very strict boundaries and guidelines on what it can do. So I would just say help answer questions. And what it cannot do is, for example, access customers. And we have the next section, which is conversation flow, which is basically defining a step-by-step structure in how you would define the conversation. So I'll just say step 1, greet the user, and then step 2, ask the user how can you help, and then you may have step 3, listen to the users using knowledge base. By the way, knowledge base is, I would go through it a little bit. It's right here. It's basically a set of documents or resources that you can provide the agent so it knows about your business logic. Because by default, large language models or AI don't have access to your internal company policies, for example. This is where you would provide. You will have the response rule, so you're basically dictating how the AI should respond. But the way that I like the most is basically to calls and transfers. If you remember, to is basically the agent doing stuff for you. But you need to let the AI know what tools it has access to, right? So maybe you will say, okay, I have the tools, which is transfer, call. I should actually put it in the available tools because it's teaching the AI what tools are available. This will transfer the call. And then you will say when to use which tool. Use this when the user says, I want to speak to human, it will activate this transfer call to, and will transfer the call from the agent to the user. You can provide examples. This is what we call few shot prompting. Actually providing the AI with a set of examples actually improves its accuracy in following the prompt. So it will just say sample conversation with tools. So maybe example like to talk, and then it will just say transfer. And finally, we have a note section, which is basically reminders, final things to remind of the agent on how to behave. For example, remember, do not make up info, basically to discourage AI from making things up, aka hallucinating. Now, I already have a full prompt, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this into here. And there you go, this is the full prompt that I've actually created. By the way, if you want the full prompt, you can use the link in the description to get the template. But just very quickly, I just fill in a little bit more detail. So like your personality, your voice. Main thing that I did was like, what you can do is like answer simple questions, help with basic troubleshooting, take messages when you can't solve the problem, transfer calls, or you can help with general information, right? Simple troubleshooting, account balance increase, but what you can't do, make it clear that it can't do any payments or refunds, handle complex technical issues, help with non-Vodafone service, for example. In the conversation on the floor, you have greeting, you start with this, and then you try to understand the request, and then you try to provide help from the knowledge base, and then if it's too complex for you, you need to talk to the human, and then the closing. Response rule, keep it simple, and we also have the example response, right, where it's a good response, and what is a bad response. The bad response, I think the plan is around 15 pounds, never say I think, for example. And the most important part is what tools is available to. We have 4 tools. The first one is end call, which is used when the conversation is complete and the user customer is satisfied. And the way you do that is actually click on function, and it already has it by default. Just call the end tool, which is end the call when the user leaves or say bye. This just ends the call. Then you have the transfer call technical, which I could just add on call transfer, and I'll just call it transfer call. And this actually transfer to the technical troubleshooting team. So I'll just say transfer to the human agent. I'll just copy the description, and you can set the number that you transfer to. This is like a static number. You can just put in any number that you want to transfer to. And there's 2 types of transfer, which is code transfer or warm transfer. Code transfer is just the AI directly transfers the call to the AI agent. And there's warm transfer where the AI actually does a debrief to the agent. So in that case, it will be the AI agent try to transfer to the human. But before the customer is connected to your human team, the AI agent actually provides a summary of what happened during the conversations to your human team before connecting the human team to your customer. This is the warm transfer, but we'll just use code transfer for now. This, you don't have to worry about it too much. And I'll just click save. This is transfer call technical. And then you can just repeat the same for transfer call accounts. And this will be transfer the call in the accounts team. I'll just say when the user, for example, and then you'll just click save, and then do the same for transfer call sales agent in the sales. I'll just click save. By the way, sorry, for the accounts issue, it should be lock in when the user would like to problems with a human, right? This update because these are the account issues. And now you have all the tools that the agent has access to, and you basically define when to use which tool, right? Which is when the transfer call is technical, then when it's technical issues beyond basic troubleshooting. For the account, when the customer can't log into the account, right, and they need help with the human help. Transfer call, say when the customers want to cancel the contract, and you connect it to a human team, which can do a better job in description, kind of like the objection handling, and it will use end call, etc. So yeah, this is kind of like and we provide some sample conversations, of course. So yeah, this is the big prompt in instructing how the agent should behave. And now the important part is the knowledge base. Now, I will be using the support database. So if you go to support and you click on help and support within Vodafone, you can do anything, any companies you want, but I'm just using Vodafone for now. So I'm just going to copy this, vodafone.co.uk, and I'm just going to click on knowledge base, add new knowledge base, and I'm just going to create a new folder called, let's say, folder Vodafone, egg, and I'll just click web pages. Of course, you can upload PDF if you want, you can add text if you want, but for now, I'm just going to add web pages. I'm just going to click on support, click save. Now, there's 371 pages in here. Obviously, for now, I just want to make it simple. I'm just going to click on maybe like the top like 5 or so, right? But obviously in the real world, you can just select all 371, but it's going to take ages. So I'm just going to click 5 for now, click 6 for now actually. And I'll just click save. And right now, the Retell will then scrape the website and actually return that data and save that in the knowledge base so the agent actually has access to the information. And now as you can see, it's finished uploading. And then I'm just gonna go back to my single prompt agent and I'm just gonna go to knowledge base and I'm gonna go click and I'll add Vodafone. And now it has access to the knowledge base. And now from here, this is where you can choose your different brain, the large language model itself. I'm just gonna click with 4.1 for now. And this is basically the text to speech layer, aka 11 labs, right? You can choose different voices you want. I like using Simo is fine. There's also Kate, which I also like using. So I'm just going to use Kate for now. But obviously you can choose any voices you want. And you can choose any languages you want if you want it to be multilingual, English, Spanish, French, etc. I'm just going to stick with English. And from here, you can see how much it's going to cost per minute and what the latency would look like and how many tokens it's going to use, right? So it charges by minute. So you know exactly how much it's going to cost for you. So now I have everything and ready. I'm just going to go ahead and test it. Hey.
Hello, this is Emma from Vodafone customer service. How can I help you today?
Hey, yeah, I'm just wondering what phones are compatible with 4G.
I can help you with that. Are you asking about phones that are compatible with 4G in general? Or are you interested in phones that support 4G calling, also known as VoLTE, when you're abroad?
Actually, 4G calling.
Thank you for letting me know. I can tell you which phones are compatible with 4G calling abroad. Some of the main brands and models that support 4G calling abroad with Vodafone include Apple iPhone 7 and newer models, like iPhone 8, X, 11, 12.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I don't need to know all of it, but this is a very good start. Can I also ask how much do you charge when I'm abroad?
The cost of calls and texts when you're abroad depends on the country you're visiting and your Vodafone plan. You can check the exact rates for your destination using our Calling Abroad from UK Charge Checker on the Vodafone website. Would you like help finding that tool, or do you have a specific country in mind?
No, I'm good. I actually can't log into my account. Do you have someone that can help?
Our accounts team can help you with your login issue and get you back into your account. I'll transfer you to them now. It looks like the transfer didn't go through just now.
Yeah, because the number doesn't exist, right? This is just a placeholder number exists, but this shows you how the entire phone call would go. And yeah, specifically, I ask about what's in the knowledge base, as you can see, what phones are compatible, right? So if you go to this kind of what phones are compatible, and if we go back to here, you can see what phones are available, like all the different models. So it tries to list out all of it. Of course, I'm not going to let it list out all the different numbers, etc. So this is actually how it has access to your knowledge base. And yeah, this is actually how you would build your first voice AI agent. Of course, there are more advanced things you can set up, but this is a really good place to get started. And yeah, if you like what you're seeing, if you want to set up similar voice agents for your business, you're more than welcome to use the link in the description to book a free discovery call with us. And if you want the prompt again to get started for your first voice AI agent, just use the link in the description and you can grab the template for free. And if you like this kind of video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.